had this group of people who I used in different ways. And for me, what I always tried to do was get the best team around me. I used the people around me in different ways. Some of my coaches I maybe only spoke to once or twice a month. One of my coaches I saw every single day. But it's getting that group of people who understand what you're trying to do. I trained with a guy who actually had not a single ounce of athletic talent in his entire body. And people used to say to me, why did you train with him? You're winning gold medals. He's not very good. And it was about having that good group of people. Because how we used to use this, we used to use him as a rabbit, and I used to chase him in sessions. And we used to give him about 200 metres head start, and if I got to the finish line in front of him, that was my race. And it's being smart about how you use, because every single person has different talents. They have things that they're good at, and they have things that they need to improve. And for me, it was about pulling all those things together, because what I wanted to do was win a gold medal. And ultimately, the only thing I had any control of in my career was what I did. I couldn't stop someone in America or Italy or anywhere else training. It was just the things that I did, going out every single day and doing all the training that I needed to do. As an athlete, you need to know your starting point. You need to know your strengths and weaknesses, because you can make so many improvements if you work on your weaknesses, and especially in sport, it's important to work on every single aspect of your game. And what we used to do in our training group was, and we used to then sort of do our personal SWOT analysis, and we used to photocopy it and give it to everyone else in the training group. And I have to say, we had a lot of rules attached to this, because you can't look at someone else's SWOT analysis and go, yeah, right, because it's not very empowering and all that kind of stuff. But it's about having trust and belief and having the people around you, because actually personal reviews are meant to be really positive and really empowering and help you learn. They're not meant to make you think, did I get away with that? Yes, I did, I'm okay. You know, which I've been through a few of those. So it's about learning so you can be the best you can. And we learned so much from that. And for me, I'm a really self-critical person. I can always write 20 things that I'm not very good at and can't think of anything that I'm good at. And for me, again, having that group of people around me who helped me work on the where are you now was one of the things that made me really successful. Because then we used to spend a huge amount of time planning and sports science testing and all the plan reviews, everything that you know about working in business, you know, works in sport. And then actually the easiest part of anything that I used to do was just to physically go out and train. Because I knew 18 months ahead all the different training sessions that I was going to do. It was so easy just to get up in the morning, look at my training diet, that's what I've got to do, and go and do it. I saw a lot of athletes who, when I was 15, 16, were more talented. But the biggest area that people fall down on is doing the things that they need to do. And I'd like to say that I do that with my inbox in the morning when I open my email, but I do kind of go, oh, right, I'll leave that one a bit. So I'm very good at talking about it. I was very good at it in my athletics life. I need to kind of transfer a bit of that to my working life. But you kind of know that if you've done everything you can, it's the no stone unturned, then actually nobody can ask any more of you than that. And that's very true in sport, because you can't predict. There's tough times. Everyone goes through ups and downs. When I had my daughter, there were loads of people who said that I couldn't be a mother and an athlete. There were actually quite a few people who said, as a disabled woman, I shouldn't have a child. I was stopped by a woman in Cardiff who said, people like you shouldn't have children. Right, Welsh women who dye their hair, women who wear contact lenses. Narrow it down a bit. So you kind of, yeah, you kind of deal with it. And in sport, it's kind of very public. And by the time I got to 2002 when I had my daughter, my husband had gone from being an athlete to a coach to being my boss. He was actually the national manager for the athletics program, which produced some really interesting discussions. And we went on a training camp with our daughter when she was 2 weeks old. And I just started back training. And first thing my husband made me do was time trials, 1,500 metres time trials, to see where I was, to work out my starting point. And it was rubbish. It was 8 minutes. It was it was painfully slow. I remember sitting on the side thinking, how do I deal with this? I've come back from sort of minor injuries, you know, but I've never dealt with this, and I've never held a baby till I had my own. I genuinely thought you could time manage a baby, which is really funny looking back now. And I remember just thinking, how do I deal with this? And it was actually someone else on the team who came up to me. And there were quite a few, you know, the athletes on the team giving me a hug, saying, look, you've just had a baby, don't be so hard on yourself, you know. And it was a team member who said to me, how quickly did you do your 1,500? And I told her. And she said, oh, I did mine miles quicker. I knew I'd beat you one day. Dislike is not a really positive motivator, but it kind of does work sometimes. What it did was it made me think what I really wanted to do. did I really, really want to come back and be an athlete? And the answer was yes. And for me, that was good because it made me focus on what I wanted to do. And I came back, and she never beat me again, which I think is always good.